A simple woman was not allowed to go to the gym because of her appearance and overweight. She was humiliated at the reception, made fun of in front of everyone. The trainer did not want to train her because she was poorly dressed. Everyone laughed at her and humiliated her. But when she returned the next day in an expensive car with a document that she was the owner of this gym, everything changed. The glass doors of Vitaliform Elite hissed open with a hydraulic sigh, and heads turned. She stepped in wearing worn-out sneakers with frayed laces and a baggy t-shirt faded from too many wash cycles. Her leggings were stretched and thinning at the knees. Hair tied in a haphazard bun, no makeup. Just a duffel bag slung over her shoulder, and hope held awkwardly in her posture. The marble floor echoed beneath her uncertain steps. The receptionist, a young blonde woman with sharp cheekbones and a tighter ponytail than her dress code required, looked up from her iPad. Her manicured fingers paused mid-scroll. "Can I help you?" she said slowly, her eyes doing a scan from shoes to scalp with all the warmth of a customs agent inspecting a suspicious package. I'm here for a trial session," the woman said, voice quiet but firm. "Your site said new clients get one free." A beat of silence. Then a smirk bloomed on the receptionist's lips like a stain. She nudged her coworker with a perfectly sculpted elbow. "A trial session," she repeated, as if the words were foreign. "You're in the wrong place, sweetheart. This isn't Planet Fitness." A chuckle came from behind her desk partner, who leaned in with a raised brow. "You sure you're not looking for the soup kitchen next door?" Heat rose in the woman's cheeks, but she didn't move. Her fingers gripped the strap of her bag tighter. "I saw the ad. I made an appointment online." The receptionist tapped the screen dramatically. "Name? Isabella Carter." Another beat. Tap, tap. Her long nails clicked against the screen with feigned enthusiasm. "Oh. Here it is." Pause. "Must be some mistake." Before Isabella could speak again, a tall, muscled man in a branded polo walked over from the trainer's lounge. Liam, his name tag read. "You called for me?" he asked the receptionist, eyes still on his protein shaker. "Yeah. This is your 10 o'clock, she said, gesturing toward Isabella like she was something the dog dragged in. "Isn't she cute?" Liam finally looked up. And winced. No offense, but I specialize in performance athletes and aesthetic training. I think this is more of a lifestyle client. Probably better for someone else." Isabella swallowed hard. "I don't care what you specialize in. I just want to get stronger." Liam gave her a tight smile. "I get that. But listen, this gym isn't really for everyone. We have a very tailored clientele. Maybe check out one of those community fitness centers? They're great." Someone on a treadmill laughed. "Seriously," the receptionist added. "This place costs more a month than those shoes probably did." More laughter. From behind her, someone whispered, "They should charge her by the pound." Isabella didn't say another word. Her throat burned, and she could feel the hot sting of tears threatening to spill. She turned, heart pounding, and walked out the way she came, head low, but back straight. They kept laughing after the door shut behind her. The sky had opened up by the time Isabella reached her car, a dented, aging Honda Civic with a cracked rear light and fabric peeling from the ceiling. She didn't care about the rain soaking her shirt. It masked the tears sliding down her cheeks. She sat in the driver's seat, keys idle in her lap, watching water bead on the windshield. Her mind reeled, replaying every word, every smirk, every sideways glance from the moment she stepped inside that gym. The kind of humiliation that digs under your skin and settles there. The kind that doesn't fade when the moment passes. It lingers. Festers. She'd known walking in that she didn't look like their usual client. She'd lost herself in the last 2 years, first after the divorce, then the layoffs, then when her mother got sick. Eating cheap, sleeping less, surviving more than living. She had been a senior product manager at a Fortune 100 company once, respected, sharp, in control. But life had a way of stripping people down. Still, she hadn't expected cruelty. They hadn't even tried to hide it. Her phone buzzed beside her on the passenger seat. A text from her daughter Ava. Did you go to the gym, Mom? So proud of you. Isabella stared at the screen, throat tight. She typed and deleted 3 responses before settling on. Yeah. It didn't go great, but I'll figure it out. She didn't send it. Instead, she turned the ignition and let the engine rumble to life. But she didn't pull out right away. Her hand stayed on the wheel, white-knuckled. She looked at her reflection in the rearview mirror. Wet hair, blotchy skin, tired eyes. And underneath all that, something stirring. A pulse. A decision. They thought she didn't belong. They thought they could laugh and send her away like she was trash on their polished floors. Fine. Let them think that. She'd been underestimated before. She'd built herself from scratch once. She could do it again. Only this time, she wasn't building herself for anyone else. This was personal. She drove home in silence, planning with every red light and rain-soaked turn. That night, after Ava went to bed, Isabella sat at the kitchen table with her laptop open and her old notebooks spread out. Notebooks filled with ideas, startups, product pitches, investment notes, strategy frameworks. She hadn't touched them in years. But they were still there. Just like her. She picked up her phone and dialed a number she hadn't called in almost a year. Hello? A voice answered on the second ring. Graham. It's Isabella Carter. I know it's late. But I want to talk to you about something. A pause. Well, damn, the voice replied. I thought you vanished off the face of the earth. What's this about? I want back in, she said. Not as an employee. As an investor. Another pause. This one longer. Go on. By the time she hung up, it was almost 2 a.m. And she didn't feel tired. She felt awake. Graham Lattimore's office hadn't changed. Same glass desk, same abstract art on the walls that looked expensive but hollow. The same faint scent of bergamot and strategy in the air. He sat behind the desk in a slate gray suit, fingers steepled, eyebrows raised. You're serious, he said, more statement than question. Isabella, now dressed in a crisp navy blazer and slacks that actually fit, nodded. Her hair was pulled back, face bare but clean and focused. Dead serious. You walked away 2 years ago. I didn't walk, she replied. I fell. There's a difference. He studied her, not unkindly. Graham was the type of man who respected numbers, not stories. But even he could read the edge in her tone, the kind that didn't come from emotion, but purpose. I'm building something again, she continued. But not for a company. For me. And I need a partner. Someone with reach. And what exactly are you trying to build? A fitness brand. He blinked. You. She smiled, but there was no warmth in it. I walked into Vitali Form Elite yesterday. You wouldn't believe how they treated me. Or maybe you would. You probably know the type. He leaned back, nodding slowly. Ah. This is revenge. No, she said. It's reclamation. Graham tilted his head. So what, you want to open a gym? No, she said. I want to buy one. That one. He let out a low whistle. You have the capital for that? Not all of it. But I have assets. I've got savings. A business plan. I've already started paperwork. And I know people. Good people. I don't need a handout. I need a co-signer. Someone who knows how to move quietly and get things done fast. He looked at her a long time. The kind of look people gave someone they hadn't expected to see again, at least not like this. And then he smiled. I miss you, Carter. Yeah, she said. I miss me too. By the end of the week, the first silent offer was made. By the next Monday, the owner, an aging franchise partner with 2 divorces and a gambling problem, was only too happy to unload the gym before summer peak. It was hers. And they didn't even know it yet. The Vitali Form Elite parking lot shimmered under the late morning sun as a sleek black Porsche Taycan rolled to a stop in front of the entrance. The engine whispered, not roared. Inside the tinted windows, Isabella sat motionless for a beat. Calm. Composed. No makeup still. But this time, her hair was smooth, her skin glowing from an early morning facial, and the soft cashmere of her cream sweater looked like it cost more than the gym's entire smoothie bar inventory. Her boots were leather. Real. Polished. Italian. She stepped out slowly, keys in hand, her stride quiet and deliberate. No duffel bag this time. Just a structured tote and a folded paper in her coat pocket. Heads turned the moment she entered. Same marble floors. Same air pumped with eucalyptus and curated exclusivity. But today, the woman who walked in looked nothing like the one who had left in tears a week earlier. The receptionist looked up and paused. Her smile flickered like a short circuit. "Hi," she said, uncertain, tilting her head. "Can I help you?" Isabella set her tote gently on the counter. "I'm here to see the manager." The woman blinked. "Do you have an appointment?" "No. I'm sorry, we don't really." Isabella reached into her coat and unfolded the letter. "I'd like you to give this to your franchise director," she said. "It concerns ownership." The receptionist took it hesitantly, reading the header, her expression changing in slow, dawning horror. Liam came walking out from the locker room, sipping a smoothie and glancing at his watch. "Rachel, who?" He stopped mid-sentence when he saw Isabella. Recognition flickered. Then confusion. Then something that felt like embarrassment, though he tried to hide it behind his smile. "Well," he said slowly. "Look who decided to." "Don't," Isabella interrupted, her voice cool. He straightened. "Excuse me?" She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. "You spoke to me like I was beneath you. You humiliated me in front of strangers. Now you'll answer to me." The receptionist let out a soft, disbelieving breath. "Wait, what is this?" she asked. Isabella turned to her. "I bought the gym." A pause. Then, "What?" She glanced back at Liam, who had suddenly gone very still. "As of this morning, Vitaliform Elite, Boston Back Bay is under new ownership. Mine." And in the silence that followed, you could almost hear every shallow judgment they'd made click back into place, now turned on themselves. Liam opened his mouth, closed it, then tried again. "This is a joke, right?" Isabella turned slightly, facing him square. "Do I look like I'm joking?" Her voice wasn't angry. It was deliberate. The kind of calm that made people nervous, because they couldn't see the storm behind it. Rachel, the receptionist, clutched the letter like it might burst into flames. "This says you're majority owner." 71%, Isabella said. "The rest is in flux, but that's not your concern." She turned to the center of the lobby where two gym members stood by the smoothie bar, watching the scene unfold. One of them was the man who'd laughed out loud when she'd been rejected, his hoodie now clinging to his lean frame with self-importance. "Hi," Isabella said to him, walking over. "You made a joke about my weight last week. Something about charging me by the pound?" His face turned red. I didn't mean it." "You did," she said. "But don't worry. You won't be banned. This isn't about revenge." She raised her voice just enough to carry through the lobby. "This is about resetting the tone." Liam crossed his arms. "What tone is that?" She turned slowly. "One of decency." He scoffed. "Look, I don't know what kind of feel-good charity gym you're trying to turn this into, but this place has standards. It's built on discipline, aesthetics, premium clientele. You mean vanity, elitism, and exclusion? You want to flood this place with people who can't even afford it?" She walked toward him, inch by inch, each step like punctuation. "No," she said. "I want people to walk in here and not have their dignity questioned because of what they look like or what they wear. I want someone like me, someone who's struggling, or trying, or just doesn't fit your mold, to feel they belong here. Without needing to drive a car like mine or wear labels you recognize." Silence settled. Then she looked down at his name badge still clipped to his shirt. "You're a good trainer, I've heard." But from now on, attitude is part of performance review. He scoffed. You can't just come in here and make up new rules. I can, she said. I own the rulebook now. She turned toward Rachel. Send out a staff memo. All employees meet in the main studio in 15 minutes. We're restructuring. Rachel hesitated. What do I say it's about? Isabella offered a small, cold smile. Culture. 15 minutes later, every staff member stood in the sleek, mirror-lined studio under white lights that had once been designed to flatter only the already perfect. Now they illuminated something else entirely: discomfort. Liam leaned against the back wall, arms crossed. Rachel stood with her arms stiff at her sides, trying not to look anyone in the eye. A few trainers whispered behind hands. One janitor, an older man in a faded polo with arthritis in his knuckles, stood quietly near the door, his expression unreadable. Isabella walked in, no fanfare, holding a clipboard. No mic. No stage. Just her voice. Let's be honest, she began. Most of you probably think I'm here to make a point. Silence. But I'm not. She looked around the room. The glistening walls reflected her from a dozen angles. It was strange seeing herself like this, centered. I'm here because this place lost its soul. Somewhere along the way, it stopped being a gym and became a mirror maze. All surface. All pretense. And if we're going to keep the doors open, we're going to change that. Today, a young trainer, Elena, her name tag read, raised her hand uncertainly. Are you keeping all of us? Isabella nodded. For now. No one's being fired today. But we are resetting expectations. She clicked her pen. First, all members are to be treated with equal respect. Doesn't matter what they wear, what they weigh, or how they look walking in. Everyone gets dignity. She turned toward Liam. Second, trainers are expected to serve people, not judge them. If that doesn't sit well with you, we'll help you transition elsewhere. No hard feelings. But this place isn't for ego anymore. Liam looked away. Third, she said, holding up a stack of papers, we're starting a new membership tier, affordable access hours for low-income individuals. The gym can afford it. I checked. Rachel let out a tiny gasp, and one of the other trainers frowned. That'll attract. Someone began. People. Isabella interrupted. It'll attract people. People who want to change their lives. Like I did. She scanned the room. I'm not asking for fake smiles or overnight conversions. I'm asking for humanity. If you can't find that, you won't last here. There was a pause. Then, from the back, the janitor lifted his hand. Everyone turned. I've been working here 5 years, he said slowly, voice rough like gravel. First time someone said anything like that in this room. Isabella nodded once, then walked over and handed him an envelope. What's this? He asked. Retroactive pay bump. And a full benefits package, she said. You're now head of facility care. The room went still. I told you, Isabella said. We're resetting the tone. By the end of the week, the gym was no longer quiet. There were still the usual faces, sculpted clients in seamless athleisure, influencers live streaming squats, high-end yoga instructors with whispered playlists. But now, something else was in the mix. A construction worker with dust still on his boots came in during the early access hour. A retired woman in a threadbare hoodie pedaled slowly on a bike, earbuds in, eyes closed. A single mother with 2 kids in tow dropped them off at the small childcare room and walked onto the floor like she'd been holding her breath for years. The regulars stared. Whispered. Some rolled their eyes. A few canceled their memberships quietly, calling the front desk and saying it just didn't feel the same. Isabella didn't flinch. She added more signage about respect, inclusivity, and the new human-first fitness policy. She even had the smoothie bar change its menu, adding affordable protein shakes alongside the $18 collagen blends. And Liam? He kept his head down. He trained. He coached. He watched her from across the gym floor, expression unreadable. He hadn't said much since the staff meeting. Something in him was shifting, but it was slow, like tectonic plates under pressure. One evening, as Isabella was closing her office, she heard a knock on the door. It was Elena, the young trainer who had raised her hand in the meeting. "I stayed late," she said. "Had a new client. Woman in her 50s. Said she hadn't been in a gym since her husband died." Isabella smiled. "And how'd it go?" Elena hesitated, then smiled back. She cried. Not because she was sad. Because no one laughed when she picked up a dumbbell. There was a silence. Then Elena added, "I didn't realize how much we'd all been pretending. Like we were performing more than training. You changed that." Isabella leaned back in her chair. "I didn't change it. I just gave the permission. The real change? That's yours." After Elena left, Isabella sat alone for a moment, watching the reflection of the gym floor in her dark office window. She thought about the woman who had stood in this same lobby, humiliated, small, broken. She wasn't gone. She was the foundation. And now she was building something bigger. It was just past noon when Liam finally walked into her office. No knocking. Just the quiet click of the door, the kind that made you look up. Isabella glanced from her laptop, unfazed. He stood in front of her desk, arms loose at his sides, no swagger this time. The confident smirk he usually wore was gone. Something raw had replaced it. "I've been watching," he said. She arched an eyebrow. "Should I be concerned?" He gave a humorless laugh and stepped closer. "No. I mean, I've been watching how everything's changed. The clients, the energy. Even the staff. It's like the place finally started breathing." She said nothing. He sat down across from her, the same chair where he once told her she wasn't the right fit. "I was wrong," he said. "That day you came in. I judged you before you even opened your mouth." Isabella's gaze didn't soften. "I know. I grew up with nothing," he continued. "Used to sleep on floors, share meals with 3 cousins in a 1-bedroom. Then I got this body, these credentials, and suddenly I was someone. And I held on to that like it was the only thing between me and going back." She studied him. The tension in his jaw. The confession balanced on pride. "I built a wall," he said. "And then became the guard at the top of it." A long pause passed between them. "I didn't just come to apologize," he added. "I came to ask if I could help. More than just training. I want to be part of whatever this is becoming." Isabella looked at him, this man who had once humiliated her publicly and now sat with his defenses down, vulnerable. She leaned back slowly. "This isn't charity, Liam. I'm not asking for it. I'm asking for a second chance." Another beat of silence. Then Isabella opened her desk drawer, pulled out a slim folder, and slid it toward him. "What's this?" "A pilot program. Community mentorship. We're pairing underprivileged teens with certified trainers to build discipline and confidence, not just physiques. I need someone to head it." He blinked. "You're giving me this?" "I'm giving you the opportunity to prove you're more than what you were." Liam opened the folder. "Read." Then nodded, slowly. "I won't let you down." "I know," she said softly. "You already did once. This time, you get to rise." Saturday mornings used to be slow at Vitali Form Elite. Now, the gym buzzed before sunrise. The new community tier brought in early risers, nurses coming off night shifts, bus drivers between routes, and teenagers who didn't have anywhere else to go before their neighborhoods woke up. The old regulars mostly kept their distance, but a few had started blending in, curious. Open. Isabella stood by the glass balcony overlooking the main floor, coffee in hand, watching it unfold. It wasn't perfect. There were still stairs. Still the occasional muttered comment. But the air felt different. Less filtered, more alive. Liam was on the turf section below, working with a group of high school boys. One of them, tall, lanky, wearing a tattered hoodie and shoes a size too small, lifted a sandbag above his head and roared with pride. Liam clapped. That's what I'm talking about. The kid grinned. Not cocky. Just seen. Isabella smiled, then turned as a pair of quiet footsteps approached behind her. It was her daughter Ava, still in pajamas, sipping a juice box. You're working again, Ava said softly. I am. You said you were done with offices? Isabella looked down at her. This isn't an office. It's a second chance. Ava nodded, then pointed. That girl, she was in my class last year. Her mom couldn't afford aftercare, so she got picked up late a lot. Isabella followed her gaze. A woman was doing lunges by the mirror, sweat on her brow, face focused. Her young daughter was reading a book on a bench nearby. She gets to come here now? Ava asked. She does, Isabella said. Ava thought for a moment. You look happy. But not like before. Not fake happy. Isabella knelt beside her. I used to think success was about being in charge, she said. Having the title. The money. The corner office. But then I realized, being in charge doesn't mean anything if you forget why you're doing it. Ava blinked. So what's your why? Isabella smiled. This, she said, nodding toward the gym floor. This is my why. As they stood together, the sun broke through the high windows, casting long golden streaks across the machines, the mats, and the people who had once been told they didn't belong. Now they did. And so did she. The following Friday, Vitali Form Elite held its first open house under Isabella's ownership. No velvet ropes. No high-dollar invites. No protein bar swag bags. Just people. Flyers handed out in bodegas and bus stops. A hand-painted banner outside that read, All are welcome. All can begin. The gym buzzed with unfamiliar energy, raw, human, unrehearsed. Trainers led group circuits next to single moms. Retired veterans sparred on the boxing pads beside college kids. The janitor, now in a collared shirt and nameplate that read Facilities Manager, Horace, gave tours with the pride of a man walking through his own living room. Isabella floated between conversations. Thanking. Listening. Watching. Then she spotted her. Rachel, the former receptionist, stood near the check-in counter. She looked out of place in a hoodie and jeans. No polished ponytail. No lip gloss. Hey, she said quietly. Isabella stopped, nodded once. Rachel hesitated. I came to drop off my final paycheck paperwork. I took another job. She fidgeted. Something part-time at a nonprofit. Just felt like the right time to go. Isabella studied her. There was no bitterness in her face. Just a kind of quiet reckoning. I wasn't kind to you, Rachel said. I bought into what this place used to be. I don't know if that makes me a bad person, but it definitely didn't make me a good one. Isabella gave a small nod. We all inherit systems. But we choose whether to uphold them. Rachel nodded slowly, eyes glassy. I hope it becomes something beautiful. It already is, Isabella said. As Rachel walked out, Isabella turned, only to find Liam standing nearby, arms folded, nodding toward the crowd. You really did it, he said. No, she replied. We did. Outside, a new member, an elderly man with a cane and Parkinson's, slowly made his way up the steps. A teenage staffer rushed out and offered her arm. He smiled, took it, and together they climbed. Isabella watched through the window. She had come in through these doors once invisible, humiliated, unseen. Now she stood as the architect of a place where no one else would feel that way again. Not here. Not on her watch. And not ever again.